What is up, everyone? Welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time here. Today we're talking about a issue that I've seen in the community that is very pervasive. I see it all the time in my comments and comments on other people's videos, and we're going to address this today and get it solved so that it is clear and your manifestations are going to work. So the issue that I'm talking about is the issue of action. The whole debate on whether to take action. Should you take action at all? Should you not take action? When to take action? It seems as of late, especially in the manifesting community, we have teachers and gurus such as Neville himself saying to take no action or to not lift a finger. And then we have from the self-improvement side that are all about taking action. Whichever school of thought that you might be more familiar with, I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you probably are a bit familiar with both. We're going to clear it up so that, like I said, your manifestations are going to work. So when it comes to the issue of action, the problem that I see and what people ask all the time is, I've been hearing take no action. So I've been sitting here on the couch manifesting money, thinking about the money that's going to be deposited into my bank account and all the nice clothes I'm going to wear and all this, designer luxury handbags and stuff. And you're visualizing, you're sitting on the couch. You're affirming, maybe you're saying, yes, I make $10,000 a month. I make $10,000 a month. So you're affirming this to yourself. You're telling yourself this. But meantime, rather than actually doing anything that has anything to do with acquiring skills, acquiring knowledge, thinking about different job opportunities or different methods that you might be able to bring in this $10,000 a month, you're simply sitting on the couch. Maybe you're playing PlayStation 5. Maybe you are just binging Netflix. Whatever it is that you might be doing, you are not in alignment. So think about it like this. Your mindset, you're a physical 3D being, right? You're a human being, you have flesh and blood, skin, your mind and body are connected. There's tons of science about this that has proven that we are a product of our environment. We're also a product of, yes, our mindset. It's nature and nurture, it's together. There's not one or the other. Our mindsets do not exist in a vacuum. We are completely being influenced by everything around us, and we are influencing our environment all the time. So if you're just thinking to yourself internally, but nothing is shifting around you, that is to say you're not doing anything that has anything to do with that goal of yours, well, it's gonna be very, very hard for that manifestation to enter. You're only allowing maybe the chance of winning the lottery, or you're allowing a chance of somebody giving you the money, or there's very, very few outlets for that to come in if you're not even doing any sort of work that's generating that income for yourself. So when we think about this from that standpoint, I'd like to use the example of, let's say that you have a loved one that has a disease that is treatable, and you know what that treatment is, and you know that you can take them into the doctor to receive that treatment, whether it's a prescription that they need or whatever that may be. Wouldn't you do that for them? Rather than simply saying, you know what, I'm just gonna manifest this disease away, I'm just gonna imagine that it's gone, wouldn't you wanna take a more holistic approach and try to make sure from every single angle possible that you were making sure that your loved one got the treatment that they wanted? I would like to hope so, and I would like for you to do the same thing for yourself when it comes to getting what it is that you want. If you look at somebody like Neville, or you look at anybody that's had success, I'm sure you've heard of Jim Carrey, right? Jim Carrey has been a very successful actor, and he has a video in which he describes a method that he used, that he learned from a teacher of his. And then this teacher said that she would get whatever it is that she wanted through prayer. He began to practice this, and his friend put his name into a raffle and won him a bike when he was just in school. And he said that, what's strange is that things like that have been happening to him throughout his life ever since then. And Jim Carrey spoken about this in videos where he wrote down on a card that he got paid X amount of money. I think it was $100,000. I'm not sure now what it was, from acting. And he kept this around with him in his wallet. But what did he do? Did he just sit there and on the couch imagine that he was gonna get this acting opportunity? No, he put himself in the situations that allowed for this to happen for him. So even though his first wife didn't believe in him, she didn't even think that he was funny, every weekend he would make sure that he went out to the comedy club and performed. And one weekend there was a scout there who noticed him and actually loved him. And that is an example of putting yourself in the right situation. He still put himself out there, and he may not have always felt like going there. He may not have believed in himself in every single moment leading up to this, but the difference being that there's two different ways to take action. There's a way of taking action where you get bad vibes, you feel like, something about this is off, it's not right. And then there's another one where it's just purely a form of discipline to get up, move your feet, and do what you need to do. And that's the type of action that you need sometimes to step into that version of yourself. Literally step into it. Literally become that version of yourself, because the version of yourself that gets that result naturally does different things than the version that is not getting that result. The version of Jim Carrey, who is a successful actor, who's gets paid for being funny, goes and tells his jokes. He goes to the places where people can see him tell his jokes. He doesn't just sit at home or sit there with his wife watching TV. Now, other people that you may have heard, other gurus on YouTube, and people that have said to take no action, again, if you look at what they're actually doing, they're still putting out that information. They're still writing down the information or putting out the video online. They're recording it, they're outlining the video. Maybe they're talking about what topics they want to write. Me right here, for an example, I wrote down the ideas that I want to go over in this video, and I'm here sitting in front of the camera recording them. These are all actions. Every single thing that we do as human beings involves action. It involves us taking action. Even getting up out of bed in the morning is an action. If you decide one day that you don't want to do that anymore and you think you're just going to manifest yourself having success without even getting out of bed, the likelihood of that happening is very, very low. So what these people mean, what Neville means specifically when he says to take no action, he's talking about the mental exertion, the mental struggle that it takes when you're trying to get something to work. There's this inner sense of force and exertion that you have when you're trying to force something to work. And that can be thought of as holding on like this. It can be thought of as holding on, gripping too tightly onto the thing, and not simply allowing yourself to walk through the door. And that's the example that Jim Carrey gives in this viral video. He talks about how, as far as he can tell, getting what you want in life and manifesting things is to simply let the universe know what you want, let go of how it comes to pass, and to then open the door in your mind for this to be a possibility and simply walk through it without holding on to how it comes about, without holding on to the means to the end or anything like that. And the example that I want to give you guys today is to think of a pendulum. And on one side, you have this feeling of overexcitement, which is, for that, you can imagine like a dog that is just frothing at the mouth. And on the other side of this pendulum, you have this overly anxious, kind of fearful feeling. Now, both of those feelings are going to be counterproductive towards your desired goal. Whereas in the middle, you have this nice solid awareness and understanding that, yes, this is natural to me. You can approach it in a calm and relaxed manner because it feels natural. It doesn't feel too far out there, like, oh, like I need this to happen so badly. And it also doesn't feel too far out there on this end where it's like, oh, I don't know if I can get that. I don't know if I deserve that. It's beyond me. Both of these things have this needy type of energy attached to it, where if you really think about it, neither believes that it is possible, because this one wouldn't be so captivated and obsessed with it that it would be so overly excited, and this one wouldn't be so overly anxious and fearful if they believed that it was a natural occurrence. And to give an example of this, let's think about a guy at a bar going up to a girl. In the first example, if he's too intense, if he's too overly excited by the thought of this girl wanting to have a drink or wanting to go home or whatever the case may be, he's going to be all wide-eyed. He's going to be putting out this very desperate type of energy. She's not going to react well to it. Now, on the other side, him being very fearful, he might be shaky, he might be nervous. She's not going to react well to that either. But she is going to react if he comes up solid and confident, but not confident in this overconfident manner that we're talking about. We're just purely as natural as it can be that, yeah, hey, what's up? Like, like he's absolutely meant to be there, like he's very sure that this is a normal possibility and a natural thing, then more than likely she's going to react well. And that's the same way that the universe is going to react to your manifestations. When you have that nice calm energy and you're going like this rather than holding onto it so tightly. So to put this into practice, when I was meeting my partner, when I had that goal in my mind of, meeting somebody and really just envisioning what that was going to look like and how awesome that was going to be, I took an approach where I met her on Tinder. So I downloaded, not only did I download Tinder, I downloaded every single app that I could think of. I studied up on what works on dating apps, and I really took the time to build my profile and really understand how to communicate on these apps. And really from every angle, I took an approach where I wanted to put my best foot forward. Now, with that being said, the actions that I took, I went about it in this relaxed manner though. I went about it in this, yes, this is natural for this to occur. I came out to Arizona, I was out here having a good time. And then if I hadn't taken any of those actions, because my girlfriend, she lives here in Arizona and currently I live here as well, it would not have happened. It would not have occurred. If I would have just been sitting on the couch imagining how nice it would be to have this relationship, nothing would have transpired. So to be able to go forward, it's about putting yourself into those situations for something to happen. Jim Carrey put himself at the comedy club for people to notice him, for people to see him perform. I put myself out on these dating apps. I put myself in the situation for it to happen. If you even want to think about Neville was a speaker. He went around he had a club in Los Angeles that he would give speeches, and he traveled around the country speaking at these various speaking engagements. He would have had to have booked that. He would have had to have put himself out there to become the famous Neville Goddard that he is now. He had to sit down, he had to write these books that he wrote, that everybody's reciting and regurgitating all of his wisdom, but that wouldn't be the case if he didn't actually sit down and write these books out so that he could explain this knowledge to people. So Jim Carrey, when he was offered his first acting job, he didn't just sit at home, he actually went and showed up and went there and did it and killed it. And that's how his career started to take off. Everybody that you watch on YouTube, whether it's Sammy Ingram or anybody that talks about manifesting, they sit down and they record these videos and then they post them. She even has a video talking about how all the actions that she took to grow on social media, specifically on her Instagram account. So regardless of who you've heard talk about not taking action, everybody's taking action all the time. And the difference is to allow those actions to come through in this type of way rather than this type of way. That is the differentiation. That's what they mean when they say take no action. They mean don't exert that mental force. Allow it to come through in a natural way. We could talk about tennis players as well. Djokovic, he has a video talking about him imagining when he was a kid being the best tennis player. But it didn't end there. It didn't end with him simply sitting there as a child or even as an adult or a teenager imagining being good at tennis. He went to the court. He showed up to practice. He went in and trained while imagining that result. And we can go into all these different examples, but really if you understand that it comes down to making those situations available to yourself. So Jim Carrey didn't go seeking out casting directors and show up on their doorstep and beat their door down in order to get casted. He simply he put himself into those situations where they could see him, see what he was capable of. And he went there like this, and that is how he walked through the door, with this open type of energy, with that natural type of energy. The issue that people get is they confuse forced action versus natural action with motivation versus discipline. So people think that they always have to be motivated to do something and that it doesn't require discipline. But that's not true. There might be moments where you need to force yourself to sit down and begin writing if you're writing a book. There may have been moments in Jim Carrey's career where he didn't feel like he was in the mood to go to this comedy club, but he still needed to show up. You still need to go to the gym if you want to get in better physical shape. And that is the difference between showing up, having discipline to be that better version of yourself who gets your manifestation, versus the forced action of that would be forcing things to happen. Would be if it's a situation you get bad vibes from it. Anything, from a job interview that you're at, you're not really vibing with the boss, you're not really vibing with the situation or the workplace or the environment, then you know that accepting that, even if it's offering the right pay that you've been wanting, is then kind of forcing the 3D. And this is something that you will be able to practice. It's a practice. It's getting more in touch and in tune with yourself to know whether you're trying to force that square peg into a round hole, so to speak, or force the 3D to fit together a certain way when it doesn't seem like it actually feels right, when it doesn't feel right, when it feels off. So in conclusion, this debate of whether to take action or not to take action, it's not really a debate at all, because we're always taking action. Waking up, walking out the door is an action. The difference is, are you forcing something to be when it doesn't feel right, versus are you forcing yourself to move your feet, forcing yourself to sit down and type at the computer, forcing yourself to do the thing that deep down you know you need to do in order to get that result. When I met my partner on Tinder, there might have been times where I didn't feel completely confident about it. There might have been times where I'm, whatever, this feels like, is this even working? What's the point? But I still did it. I still took the steps necessary to allow that circumstance to exist in this way, where now I was able to walk through that door, or where she was able to walk through the door to me. But putting yourself in that position for that to come is an action. Sitting down on the couch and scripting is an action. Going outside, going to the coffee shop, going to the bar to put yourself out there is an action if you're trying to meet somebody. Going to the comedy club, all of these examples, they are actions that are taken along the path towards receiving that manifestation, towards it being available, for it to present itself in the universe that, hey, this is available to you. It wouldn't have been available to Jim Carrey if he would have just sat at home and took in his wife's, negative commentary, say, you know what, there's just no point in trying, there's no point in me going out to the club tonight. It wouldn't have happened for him. And so that's what I want to express to you guys, is that there are actions that you need to take. And sometimes you need to take a lot of action. Sometimes it takes studying. Sometimes you need to build a certain skill. And there's a lady that posted on Reddit about her success with her business and how it occurred only after her trying these various different things, which then led her down the thing that finally worked. And once she got her business going, it required a lot of action from her. She was up. She said that she had certain nights where she was a lot of the times getting only 4 hours of sleep, but actually that the work was exhilarating because it was exciting. And that's what I would want for you guys as well. It's like to find that path where now it becomes exciting. Now it becomes a very rewarding experience, and the process towards getting your goals becomes this great thing that feels good and is natural to you, rather than it feeling like you're constantly battling against reality to get what it is that you want. And that leads me to a quote that I want to leave at the end of this video, which is to change the plan, but never the goal. And so all of these examples we've been going over, she tried these various different businesses. Some of them didn't work. In fact, almost every entrepreneur that you hear has started at least 4 or 5 businesses before they actually get that one off the ground that is a success. So with that being said, businesses fail, relationships fail, goals fall through the wayside. But the one thing that all these people have in common that actually got to the desired success at the end was that they didn't stop taking action. They kept changing the plan as many times as they needed to in order to get to that end result. And so, trust yourself. Keep taking that natural action. Keep going. And if there's one thing that you take from this video, it is to keep going towards your goal. Never waver. Just adapt. Just change as much as you need to in order for you to keep ongoing, rather than giving up, rather than saying, hey, I'm going to throw in the towel or whatever. It's about being able to stay the course. So with that being said, guys, thank you very much for watching. Drop a like, drop a subscribe if you found this video helpful. And let me know in the comments what you think. If you have any thoughts about this, any questions, comments, anything you'd like to add, really, I will be answering all the comments down below. And with that said, much love. I'll see you guys in the next video.